A lot of cameras there.
What have you wanted to see from Kyle, the biggest growth from him after getting some reps under his belt last year?
Confidence, just knowing he can go out there, read the defense, and make any throw he needs to do it, and do it every play and do it every day. That's really what we're looking for from him.
You talked about arm strength and how important that was to his development. How do you go about trying to do that through the offseason?
Well, there's the weight room. I think a lot of it comes from the weight room. If you're not naturally gifted, with a really, really strong arm, there's your squats, your cleans, all those lifts where you're working on your trunk, and your core and all those things. Obviously, that can help, but it's a process of things throughout the off season, whether it's drills, whether it's the weight room, whether it's things during spring practice right now. But trying not to focus, the focus isn't on that right now. I don't want him thinking about that. And, he's proved that his arm is good enough to make throws to beat some really good teams. So we're trying to push through any of that and just let him go out there and play.
How much did last season's experience help Zeb?
Oh, it was huge. It was huge. He had a chance to start a game, play a whole game as a starter. Had a chance to come in a really tight game, against Oklahoma State. And it was huge for him, and it was huge for us as coaches because we could see that, here's a guy that he hasn't been in here before. He played a little bit against UNI and not enough to get a real feel for it. But, for him to know he can go out there and play is huge for his confidence. And, we're trying to build on that as well.
What are you working on with him? Where's he got to make strides in to take his game to the next level?
Fundamentals, and that's all of them. Where, Kyle's probably technically, just with his experience, being older than the other guys, he's had a lot more reps, whether he's been the starter or not, wherever he's been. He's been in college football for a while, and trying to get everybody to have sound fundamentals and understand what they're looking at, on any given play, and to be consistent, and have a mentality that they're going to take care of the football and go out there and give us a chance to win. But just being, consistent and having, really good detail and really good fundamentals.
Does Zeb have some of that, I guess, Kyle in him in terms of football IQ? Because, Coach Campbell had talked about in the past how he used to draw up plays and would bring them to his office and say, this is what we should be trying out too.
Yeah, he's a coach's son. He's been around the game, a long time. And if you're a quarterback and you've never drawn up a play, that you thought would work or you would want to play, there's probably something wrong with you somewhere. But, he's working really hard at it. He's growing every day, and he's doing a really good job.
How good do you feel about the whole quarterback situation, knowing that not only do you have, a guy as talented as Zeb, but now he has experience under his belt? You aren't just throwing somebody into the deep end.
Well, I feel as good as we practice. So, if I kind of live through those guys. So, when we're playing well, obviously that makes everybody feel good. And when we make mistakes, obviously that's why you practice. You do it so you can go out there and learn from them. But to have those two guys that have been out there and done it is way better than having one and way better than having none. So it gives us a great starting point, right now, and obviously halfway in, I think those guys are really growing.
Is there enough contrast in their games that you use them situationally sometime in the same game?
There is. Probably Kyle and Zeb are as close skill set wise, probably, Real obviously is a little bit different, but those two guys we wouldn't do, we wouldn't have a lot of contrast probably with those two guys right there.
How important is it for a program to have a guy like Kyle back, just with his veteran leadership?
Well, it's everything you're looking for in a quarterback that has had a chance to play, and win some big games, some of the biggest games in the program's history. And he's a really good guy, off the field. I think his teammates, look at him as a guy that has worked really hard for his opportunity, and he's done the most with it so far. And, you know, I think they expect him to keep getting better too. You know, he's working at it, you know, just like everybody else trying to improve.
What has Real brought to the room? And we know what a dynamic athlete he is, and I'm sure he can help in a lot of ways, but just as a quarterback, what is he showing you?
Well, he's really smart, number one. So, you know, everybody talks, and we'll talk about, you know, how athletic he is, and he is. He's athletic. He's different in that regard, you know, from the other guys in some ways. But you know, he's never been here before. Everybody else has been through practice and heard, you know, concepts and play calls and all of that. So to have him in there, you know, it's good for me because I haven't been running that meeting room, you know, except the last 3 weeks. And it's been really good. You know, he's a really good guy, number one. He's smart. He asks really good questions. And, you know, he brings, you know, I'm at a loss for words exactly what he brings to the room. But, you know, he keeps everybody happy in there, you know, because he's another really good guy. And he's going to be a really good quarterback too. But he's, you know, he's a little bit different than those guys. But he brings a fresh set of eyes, you know, to maybe the other guys have heard this play call forever and they might know it like the back of their hand. Well, it's brand new to him, you know, on week 8 or, you know, day 8, you know, practice. But he's been really good, really fun to work with.
Where does Devin fit in the mix and just his growth curve after his injury last year?
He's growing, you know, just like everybody else. Unfortunately for him, he's not cleared, you know, to go through all of the team activities, you know, when we get out there and we're playing, you know, with a live pass rush coming at him. So he's missing out on those things, but he's made tremendous strides. You know, he's got a big, strong arm, and as fast as his, and he looks good. His knees coming around, and I don't know if he'll be completely cleared at any time in the spring, but he should be completely cleared for the summer, so he should be, you know, full steam ahead, you know, whenever he gets to that point to start using his own strengths, you know, to push and make a statement, you know, for himself to have something to say about this quarterback race.
What is the competition like right now in spring ball?
Oh, it's good. You know, we're playing against a really good defense. We go out there every day, and we're getting after it. You know, the offense is trying to get after the defense. The defense is trying to get after the offense. And there's great competition, you know, in the quarterback group and the running back group, you know, across the board. You know, I think you could say that on all positions on the football team, and that makes for a hungry team, and they're out there playing really hard, so it's fun to watch.
You mentioned